the organizer of the school. Mindshift is all about sharing business knowledge that you can utilize to lead your business goals. The presentations cover a wide range of topics that are relevant to different business teams. Tonight's topic is extraordinary dreams for extraordinary results. Think about these words: success, wealth, and fulfilling life. Even though we all seem to know what it takes to get them, only few of us reach their desired goals, and others don't. In this presentation, you will learn that the key of success is you. Our presenter, Andrea Ivanka, will go through top mind-body technologies that will shift the way you see the world. Andrea is an upcoming author and established speaker focusing on creating success in life transitions and empowering others. She's a board-certified trainer in various technologies such as neuro-linguistic programming, timeline therapy, create your future coaching process, and hypnosis. Please welcome our presenter, Andrea Ivanka.
Let's give Sujin a hand. She did awesome. It's always good to acknowledge people that do well. So, how's it going?
Doing well.
Good. You guys all made it in from the cold. Is everybody feeling all snug and cozy in here now?
Yeah.
Yeah, getting there. I know we were feeling a little chilled on the way here. Are y'all ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I mean, whatever this is going to be. Does anybody know what we're actually doing tonight? And yet, all you brave souls showed up. Congratulations. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about going from extraordinary dreams to extraordinary results. How many of you, just by quick show of hands, have a dream? Maybe one or two? Good. Like everybody? Good. And it sounds like from talking to a couple of you beforehand that you're looking for a way to get from what's here to actually creating it in reality. So the good news is we're going to be talking about how to actually start moving you from what's in here to what's out there. And I'm sure you're going to see some things that might shift your world, actually probably will, a little bit tonight. Because if this wasn't your field, it wasn't your field, so you didn't know. So you can't know what you didn't know to move forward, can you? Can you follow that? Got it? Good. So, before we begin, let me give you kind of a big picture about what this evening's about so that you know where we're headed and what we're going to be doing. And so you can decide if you really want to be here. So, I'm just going to ask a couple people if anybody wants to volunteer. Why are you here? What brought you here? As we're getting into the holiday season and as the snow's falling, what pulled you out of your home, out of the car, out of the transit, and brought you here today?
Well, with the clients I deal with, sometimes I find they're dreamers, but when it comes time for actually doing the work, they freeze up. I'm just not curious to why that occurs.
Cool. We'll definitely have some answers for you there. So other than Andrew, because he's the only one whose name I know, and Susan's. Anybody else? Yes.
My name is Nick Zaborowski. I'm in business and life coaching, and I always want to learn more about my clients.
Good. So this is to help your clients as well.
Absolutely.
Cool. I think you're going to find some key stuff in here for that. I'm going to start randomly picking on people.
I read a book on neurolinguistic programming, and I wanted a face-to-face interaction and learn more about it.
Well, how many of you have heard of linguistic programming? Handful. Okay. I'm going to say something naughty. NLP is like sex.
Well, it must be good.
It must be good. A lot of people read a book about something and then they think they kind of got it. We're going to talk about intellectual knowledge versus experiential, right? I mean, sex is kind of like that. You might be able to read a dirty book about it. If you go on YouTube, maybe you can watch an audio video or two. But until you actually do it, you have no idea what everybody's raving about. So my goal tonight is to actually give you some tools in your body because you're in a body. And this controls this. So you can walk away from here using in your day-to-day. Like, let me ask you. How many of you have ever gone to a course where it was all about motivation and personal development development, and then 2 or 3 days later, everything was exactly the same. Anybody? Or was that just me? I've been to a few like that. Or where they went and said, well, what you need to do is this, this, and this, and then they didn't tell you how. Anybody ever have that happen? Like, you just need to think positive. You just need to visualize your goals. No? Anybody ever hear that before? A few? Okay. So I want tonight to be different. I want to give you tools that you can go away and use in your daily life so that it actually makes a difference for you. Would that be of value to you?
Yes.
Yes? Good. I'm going to be getting you to say things out loud like, yes, and you agree. Why? Not because I need to hear it, you need to hear it. Your own mind needs to hear that you're on board. So, would this be of value to you to get some tools that you can use immediately in your day-to-day life to get to your goals?
Yes.
Awesome. Good. See, because I believe that everybody should be able to get to their desired results. And the kind of tools that we're going to be learning about tonight, I mean, I'm going to give you as much as I can in 90 minutes. Because granted, a lot of people go through months and months of training, but I'm going to give you as much as I can in 90 minutes. And I believe that everybody should have access to these tools. Because for years, these tools were hoarded by captains of industry. It was the old white boys club. CEOs. How many of you ever heard of Steve Jobs? Trained. Stephen Covey? Trained. Obama? Trained. Chaiken? Trained. George Bush Jr.? Not trained. George Bush Sr. trained.
We had a learning disability.
Yeah. Parker? Not trained either. See, because I believe that when you're empowered, then you go out and you make an impact on the world. See, it empowered you. It empowered you. It empowered you. Leads to an empowered business. How many of you are business owners? Curiosity? You know, how many are entrepreneurs doing the employees and doing a little bit of stuff on the side? How many of you are here just for the fun of it to see what you could meet tonight? Yay! See, because I believe that when you have these tools, then you can go use them. Your business becomes empowered. The relationships, because business is based on relationships around you, become empowered. Your personal relationships become empowered. And this is how you change and transform the planet 1% at a time. So that's what you're in for tonight. Not sure if that's what you were hoping for. So on my way here, I was thinking about one of the people that I actually met in my course. I was thinking about my friend Dan. Dan works in a car dealership. And he's the person at the service desk that's supposed to make sure that your car gets serviced properly. But see, Dan had this little bit of a problem. He hated to sell. Kind of ironic for somebody who doesn't sell. But he had this thing where he felt like he was pressuring people in order to make a sale. And yet it was his job to make sure that people got the warranty that they needed. So one day, actually a good friend of his came in. And he was kind of like, oh, should I offer her this extended warranty? Oh, I want her to feel like pressuring her, especially for her friend. And so he didn't. And 3 days later, she came in, and her engine needed a complete overhaul. That was going to cost her $5,000. Because he knew had he offered her the extended warranty, that would have been pennies compared to the $5,000 that now she had to fork over to get her engine overhauled. So he decided then and there, he was like, okay, I need to do something about this. Because clearly, this isn't working. So he went to the top salesperson in the company to find out what it was that he could do to get to his results. And he found out some actually interesting things. This lady had a really nice car, by the way. Had a really nice car. Oh, that actually makes me think of this other lady. When I was in training not too long ago, I'm gonna move a bit, so hopefully if anybody can't see me, let me know on the ground level. She had a Porsche. Very, very successful businesswoman. For most of her life, it seemed like things were going really, really well with her. You know, how sometimes it looks like to people from the outside. And this lady's name was Margaret. Anybody ever have something happen where you get a little upset said about anything?
Yeah.
Good. I was wondering if I'm the only human in here. Okay, well, Margaret, I mean, growing up, she grew up the way most of us do. So, I mean, Margaret, she had parents that worked really hard. She had, both of her parents were working 2 jobs. And, you know, sometimes Margaret would get really lonely at night because they were both working, so she'd feel a little, she'd feel sad. And then they were working really hard, so it was like all these little sad rocks kind of settled inside her. And what ended up happening was, well, one day she made a decision that somehow this meant that maybe they didn't love her. Maybe she wasn't good enough. That was it. She wasn't good enough. Oh, that one went in there. And then she got to high school, and you know that age where hormones start flying and people start dating, and somebody asked her out. But she was convinced he was doing it just to be nice. And she really thought she wasn't good enough. Really, really thought she wasn't good enough. And, you know, that made her a little bit angry sometimes. Maybe a little frustrated. Then she started feeling guilty because she started eating like the kind of things that maybe it wasn't the best thing to be eating at 3 in the morning sometimes. And then she graduated university. And you know, she got a pretty good paying job. She got a pretty good paying job. And she paid off all of her student loans, but she had this nagging thing about not being good enough. She's doing well, this Margaret. She got a Porsche. And so life went on. And she got angry about something else. And broke and parted about something else. She got a little scared too. Because all of a sudden her company went under. And now she needed to branch out in ways that she'd never done before. So she got really scared. I mean, she didn't know what she was going to do next. She got really scared for a while. And money was involved now. And so by the time Margaret came to the course, she'd actually started a successful business. She was raking in 10 figures. She was doing pretty well. Except at this point, well, Margaret was about 40 pounds overweight.
She needs help to carry the bag.
Margaret was about 40 pounds overweight. And even though she had a Porsche and she had this really good job, I mean, when she came in, she was, I don't know, you may have met them. Like the smiling, angry people.
Funny.
I mean, after a lifetime of carrying around this.
Is that your regular workout?
Hi, I'm Andrea. It's really nice to meet you. You want to do business? This was Margaret. Everywhere she went, she was carrying around her whole entire life. Except Margaret couldn't see it. Because no matter how she turned, she couldn't see it. She's one of the smiling, angry people. Margaret was an interesting soul. Actually, carrying around all those rocks reminds me of another story. Anybody ever heard of rock climbing? Anybody ever seen it? Anybody ever done it? Anybody ever been rock climbing? Indoor? Outdoor?
Outdoor.
Yeah, outdoor's pretty cool. I mean, one of the first times that I went on a multi-pitch climb down in the Adirondacks, I was pretty young, I was like 22. We decided to do a 6-pitch climb. And so, you know, by about the 5th pitch, the pitch is about, depending on the pitch, 60 to 80 feet. I was getting tired. I mean, we were on the 6th pitch, and I'm hauling up the gear and the whole bit. And so my partner's gone up ahead of me, so he's set up the whole thing, and at this point I'm top roping. So that means I was all safe, I was all tied in. Except I'm getting tired. I mean, I'm thinking, oh geez, this was a good idea when we started. It was really, you know, the sun was just coming out. Now the sun's beating on me. I'm hot, I'm sticky, I'm dehydrated. And all of a sudden my thoughts start to distract me and I slip. And the way I fall, my hand, you can actually vaguely still see the scars, get smashed. Here's the rope. Here's my hand against against the cliff with the rope, and my full body weight is hanging on my hand, and my feet are straddling, and I can't find a way out. And my thoughts at that point are going, shit, probably a little more than that. What do I do? What do I do? I'm at the point where I'm exhausted, I'm thirsty, but I've got somebody that's waiting for me up there. And so at that point I need to make a decision, don't I? Anybody ever have that happen? Like where you're really up against the wall and it's time to make a decision and you're exhausted and you don't really know what your options are? Anybody ever have that happen? That was me on the I really wasn't sure how I was gonna do it. I really wasn't sure. I was kinda like praying for some magic or something to happen to lift my feet. I like magic a lot. Anybody ever heard of a story called The Sword and the Stone? Excalibur, King Arthur,
Yeah.
a few people. So the legend of the Sword and the Stone goes this way. That once upon a time, back, long time ago, there was a sword and a stone. And the whole idea was that whoever could pull the sword out of the stone would become king. And so Merlin the wizard was training Arthur. And his whole life, I mean it seemed like it was building up to this one point to pull the sword out of the stone. And it was really interesting because at first Arthur, I mean he was really hesitant. Here's Merlin, this bearded wizard, telling him this is what you were meant to do. You were meant to pull the sword out of the stone. And here's this little kid, as he's growing up going, how could I ever? How could I possibly? I'm not strong enough. I don't have the skills. I mean, there's big hulking barbarians and men that have tried to pull the sword out of the stone. How could I ever? And he got really frustrated. Because he was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. And then finally one day he was just like, you know what? I'm just going to let it flow. I'm going to let it flow. Merlin's told me this is my destiny. Who knows? And so what did he do? He went up to that rock. We all know how that story ends, right? Sometimes we have to make a decision. Maybe the skills that we've had up until that point weren't enough to get us to our goals. So there was a bunch of business owners here. Can I see your hands again? Who's the business owners? Entrepreneurs? Kind of in between? Maybe an employee with a side shingle? I know a few of those. I was one of those for a while. Sometimes we get a point in our life where it's time to make a change. Even if we're successful, there's always room for growth in new skills. So I hit this point in my life where I've been a teacher for a really long time. I've been traveling. I taught elementary school in Mexico for 3 years. I lived in China. I lived in the UK. And I loved it. And then something changed. And I didn't love it anymore. But see, this whole promise of a steady paycheck kept me there. 1 year. 2 years. 3 years. And all that time inside my head, I was like, what am I doing? I'm going stir crazy here. And then my health gave up. In bed for 5 months. And I had to make a choice. See, it was either keep pushing myself for that steady paycheck or decide to do something different. And this is where we are today, taking that journey together. So, I've made a deal, but I'm going to give you as much as I can in the next, well, it'll be about 70 minutes now, since I can't stand here telling you stories all night. I guess I could, but we want to get to some of the tools, don't we? I didn't put some of you to sleep, did I? I think I want you to put some of you into trance. Good, okay. So, at the beginning, I said this training was going to be different, didn't I? Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Good. It'll go a lot easier if when I say yes, you all say yes out loud. Yes?
Yes.
Good. So I'm going to have you doing some very un-Canadian things like saying yes out loud. I'm going to have you standing up at a certain point. I'm going to have you actually saying hello to the person sitting beside you. I promise you won't keel over and die. Okay? Promise. Promise, promise. Everybody walking out of here alive tonight. So it is going to be a little bit different than some of the trainings you've been to. Why? Because you're in a body, and I want you to have the experience. See, because the real question is, are you here to change your life?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Then I will do everything I can to get you going that way. So, do I have your permission to treat you as leaders tonight?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes? With a little more oomph? Any leaders out there?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Good. So we're going to play full out. So, let's give you some secrets to quick and lasting change. So, the way the structure is going to go is I'm going to give you some what. I'm going to give you some background what. And then I'm going to give you some how. Because one of the things I used to get frustrated about is people would tell me what, they wouldn't tell me the how. They'd tell me how, they wouldn't tell me what. So I want to put this in a nice way that you can understand what we're doing and what it's all about. Let's see if I have this. The only real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. So, I encourage you to take the journey tonight. This is all about behavior. It's all about a behavioral model. So, who wants to know what's happening inside of you so that you can get to maximum results? Anybody? Okay, I guess I'm leaving then. There's like 4 people. Who wants to know what's going on inside of you so that you can get maximum results? Okay, so I'm turning into this half the room.
We're winning.
You guys are winning. Seriously, who wants to know what's going on in here so you can get your results? Good. Alright. So we're going to start with some themes for the evening. I love these things. Whoever invented the Post-its was awesome. Now we have big Post-its. If any of you do training, these things are awesome. So for those of you that can't see over there, I will tell you what I'm putting up here. So there's something called the pillars of comprehension. Most of you will be comfortable in one or the other, and you'll probably be easily able to identify for yourself which one you're most comfortable with really easily. So we have our 2 pillars. Oh, well, I can draw pillars. You know what pillars are? They hold things up. Buildings, other kinds of things. Well, pillars of comprehension are about comprehension. How do we understand what's going on in the world? In Western society, we really like this pillar. It's the academic. It's the read a book about it. It's the go get certified in it. We really like this in Western society. However, for any of it to matter, you need the other pillar, experiential. So, just in your own head, wherever you're sitting, as you're sitting there, I want you to kind of check in and figure out which one is the one that you're more comfortable with. See, some people love the experiential. These are the people that'll just dive right in, consequences begin, they'll figure it out as I go along. Some of our greatest entrepreneurs fall into this category. Anybody ever heard of Richard Branson? Very experiential. Somewhere along the way he had to figure some of this. So you'll find yourself falling into 1 or 2 of these categories. See, what we want you to do, and what I'd like to encourage you to do, is to have a balance between the 2. That's where you start to develop wisdom. This is the area of self-help. Have you ever done that? You take a course, you're like, ooh, that was a good course. I got the binder. Maybe even got the certificate. Yeah, I'm gonna put that here. 6 months later, oh, that was such a good course.
That's so funny.
Self-help. Not that anybody in here would have done that, right? So we want to have a balance between the 2. You need to go experience things, you need to take action. If it all stays in your head, well, you're living a nice fantasy life. However, you live in the here and now. If you're a person that jumps into all the experience, at some point, for you to be perceived as an expert and as credible by the standards of today's society, you do need to pick up some of the academic. So you do need to pick up some of the skills, some of the courses, so that people perceive you as knowing what you're doing. I don't know, but in right now in the coaching industry especially, I run into lots of people, really great people, and I'm like, okay, so where did you get trained? Well, nowhere. Okay, well, who mentored you? Because if you've had a really good mentor that's already been very successful, that's valid too. Well, nobody. It's just people have always told me I'm really good at giving advice. Okay, so that's called talent, no skill. The academic is all about giving you skill to back up your talent. So you need a balance between the two. So that's a journey we're going to go on tonight. I'm going to give you some of the academic in the first chunk, in the what, and then I'm going to give you the experiential in the how. Cool stuff so far? Alright, all learning, behavior, and change is unconscious. So, how many of you have a different phone number now than the one you grew up with? So, if I just asked you for a second, could you remember that first phone number that you had growing up? Remember it? Okay, where was it before I asked you to remember it? It was unconscious. It was in your mind. It was unconscious though, because it wasn't present. You weren't consciously thinking about, oh, that was my phone number when I was a kid. Okay? Everything you learn gets stored in your unconscious mind. Otherwise, you would have to relearn things every single time you did them. And isn't it funny too, when you learn something, at some point you're kind of like, here I am practicing again. And then one day you wake up and you're like, wow, I'm really good at this. See, the point where you actually learned it and got good at it, can you pinpoint it? No, very few people can. It's that aha moment where learning happened, because learning is unconscious. Your behavior is unconscious. And so is the behavior of the people that drive you nuts. Ever had somebody that you're like, oh man, I just wish they would change? Yeah, it's unconscious. See, just between your shoulder and your fingertips, you have 159 different muscles. So if you had to do this consciously, and go, okay, this muscle move, you'd be there all day trying to figure out just how to lift your hand. Your behavior, your movement is unconscious. It's a good thing. Otherwise, somebody like me might be like, oh, there's a pretty butterfly, and forget to breathe. Right? Our behavior is unconscious. This is why when people look to change, they attempt to do it consciously and they struggle. Change is unconscious. See, because the harder you're consciously thinking about something, the harder you're pushing against it, the less results you get. So we're going to dwell into the unconscious mind. You have a conscious and an unconscious mind. How many of you knew that? A few? Good thoughts. Awesome. This is going to go so much faster. Your unconscious mind, anybody other than Satya, have any idea of what percentage of the show your unconscious mind runs?
97.
Or a little less. 90. Good guess. Your unconscious mind runs about 90% of the show. So that's all of your body functions, it's all your learning, it's all your behavior. Your conscious mind is the conscious mind that you're aware of that chatters at you. Yes, you can. No, you can't. Or whatever it is that's chattering at you. So, see, here's the interesting thing. Your unconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what's real and what's imagined. Want to test it out? Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes. You too. Okay. Just want you to imagine you're walking into your kitchen. Whatever your kitchen may look like. And there in your kitchen you see somebody has brought you a big bowl of lemons. And you walk over, grab the lemon, and you take a knife, and you safely cut it in half, and bring the lemon up to your nose. Good, and open your eyes. What started to happen for some of you? What started to happen in your body? Remember the smell of lemon. Did you actually almost smell it? Anybody start to salivate? You? I got that the first time somebody did this with me. I was like, your body cannot tell the difference between what's real and imagined. And up until about age 7, you have no critical faculty. Your critical faculty is the part of you that cares about what's real and imagined. See, up until age 7, this is why kids are like, I'm going to be a fireman, and I'm going to be a dancer, and I'm going to be an astronaut, and I'm going to be Superman, and they think they can do all of it. And it's all real to them. See? And you all suspend your critical faculty every day. How many of you have seen the movie Superman? Or heard of Superman? Or read the comic book? How many of you went, wow, that's so dumb, there's a guy in tights with a cape? A few, right? Most people will go, okay, it's a superhero, right? This is why we can go to the movies and get caught up in a good movie. When we go see a bad movie or something we don't enjoy, that's what kicks in. It's our critical faculty goes, well, that's so dumb, that could never happen. However, when we're really enjoying something, anybody ever read a good book where they just really got into it? Bless you. Nice resolution. I read a good book where I was at the point where I was in tears. My grandma was like, what are you crying about? Oh, this book and the character, she died at the end. It's just like, it's not real. Yeah, but because we suspended disbelief temporarily, this is how we can function in the world. See, there was this really cool guy called Walt Disney. I mean, he had this crazy idea about a talking mouse and some talking dogs and a talking duck. And people thought he was crazy. There were some other gentlemen, you may have heard of them. See, they thought it was a really good idea for us at some point to take this big tube of metal and put people in it and fly them across the ocean. Right, brothers? I mean, eventually it got to the point where, have you ever sat in a really big jet, some of you? Like, who would have thought, consciously, based in reality, that we could bend a big thing of metal and fit people inside it? Or how about this thing? I put it to my ear and I can talk to somebody on the other side of the world. See, we take these things for granted now because we're so immersed in the technology. At one point, it was up here in somebody's imagination. When Henry Ford was first building his cars, he said, I want this much horsepower. Yeah? They said, it's not possible. He said, I don't care. If I can imagine it, it will be a way to find out how to do it. So see, this gets me very curious about what's going on inside all of your minds. Because I'm sure we have people with some ideas right now in this room that could change the face of humanity. The whole question is, will you suspend your disbelief enough to believe that it's possible and keep working until you get there?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Who said that?
I did.
I'm going to give you a high five. That was awesome.
Very nice.
Very nice. Alright. You guys okay if I take my blazer off?
Absolutely.
Here. I get really excited when I speak, and if any of you ever do any speaking or training, you'll soon realize you exude a lot of energy. When I first learned this, Andrew, and I think this is where I would start talking to you about this literally changed my life, this one little nugget. And for some of you, this may very well change yours. See, back in the day, bless you, there was some cavemen. Let's call them Grog and Grogette. And Grog would go out, and it was Grog's job to come back with dinner. Instead of coming, well, actually not coming back as it was dinner. So Grog would go out, with his big caveman, and one day Grog saw this orange, fuzzy thing by the rock. And the orange, fuzzy thing lifted its head and went, "Rawr!" Saber-toothed tiger. So what did Grog do? Or maybe he went, it was something new. There is a part in your brain called the amygdala. The amygdala controls your fight or flight. And despite the fact that we have developed technology to something like this, like the laptop, that part of your brain has not developed at all since the days of Grog and Grogette. So here's the aha for you. anytime you encounter something new, your amygdala is going to fire. Anytime. It doesn't matter if you're learning a new language, if you're going to take a new trip, if you're doing a business venture. Now this is important for those of you that have clients and employees, because you need to manage this in them and you need to manage it in yourself. This is where highly attuned and spiritual people get themselves a little confused. See, because the amygdala is going to fire every single time there's something new. For some of you, that might even just be saying hi to somebody. Some people are shy. It's okay. Every single time. And so what the really spiritual people end up doing is they go, my intuition is telling me I shouldn't do it. Now here's the secret. The amygdala will only stop firing once it's not new anymore. So let's say which way do I want to go? I've got more room here. Let's say my goal is over there. And I'm here in the now. I'm going, okay, I'm going to have to do something new. I'm going to have to take a course. It means I'm going to have to come up with this money. It means I'm going to have to get the time off work. And it means I'm going to have to do an exam. I'm going to have to do blah, 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 blah. All new. It's new. This is where most people go wrong, especially in moving towards their goals and dreams. They go, it's scary, and they do this. Okay, now the amygdala is not firing anymore. However, am I further away or closer to my goal? Further. So what's going to happen the next time I get an idea? Because I still have my goal.
Go backwards.
I'm going to go like this. The amygdala is going to fire. I'm going to go, oh shit, it's scary, and I'm going to do this again. And this is where a lot of people go wrong, especially in our society. They spend their life having their amygdala fire, and they go into fear. Now see, what happens as soon as you take one step this way, the amygdala stops firing because now it's not new anymore. So see, the first time, you have to maybe go to an angel investor and ask for money to do something. That's new. First time you have to go to a networking meeting, maybe now you've got a new fancy title. That's new. Maybe the first time you have to get up and do a presentation in front of somebody. That's new. And see, the amygdala is going to fire every single time. And if you can get into the habit of realizing, oh, it fired, good, you're doing something new, move forward. See, because if your amygdala is not firing, you're doing the same old thing in the same old box. Oh, so speaking of boxes. This stuff's fun. I love these. Speaking of boxes, here is here's your old box. That's how you came in today. You have your old box. It's the way you do things, it's in your neurology, you're in a body, you have a way that you do certain things. So for some of you, just to forewarn you, you might have some funky stuff that happens tonight. You may get a little frustrated. I may say something and you might be like, rah, 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 in your head. Congratulations, you started blowing out the old box. I may say something, I may have you do something that you're like, ooh, that is, Kimberly, what's my word? Uncomfortable. Congratulations, pat yourself on the back. You're now blowing out the old box. This one's the best one. I hear this one the most. Andrea, you said something and I'm so confused. I don't get it. Good. Now you've really blown out the old box. See, you hit confusion. Confusion is actually a highly functional mental state. Confusion is when you've blown out your old box and you have nothing else to put in there yet. It's when what you've done up until now doesn't work anymore. And this is what people do when their amygdala is firing. They try to do this. They really try hard. You know, try means fail, right? You ever have those people that are, oh, I'm inviting you for the barbecue, good, I'll try to be there. Yeah, don't buy them hamburgers or buns, they ain't coming. Try means fail. So just be aware of that in your own wording. So this is what people do, they try to get back in the old box. Because here it was comfortable. This wasn't firing. However, once your mind is opened up to something new, you need to create something new. So you can make the choice of either moving forward toward your goals and managing your biology, or you can take a step back. Is this useful to know?
Mm-hmm.
I found it massively useful. See, because when I made the choice to leave my job, oh man, my amygdala was going off every morning. I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh shit, what did I do now? Oh, now I'm depending on myself for my paycheck. Ooh, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do that, and everything was new. Everything. So knowing this was what allowed me to keep moving forward. And this is, you also need to manage this in the people that you work with, especially those of you that are trainers or coaches, or in any kind of business where you manage people. Because every time you give somebody a new task, the amygdala is going to fire. It may fire little, or it may fire big. So this is where we say, kind of in my industry, in our linguistic program, you want it, your goal, or whatever it is that you're going towards, to be big enough that you get excited, and it makes you want to throw up a little. If it only makes you want to throw up, scale it back a little. I realized I did that when I first left my job, and I was like, I'm going to do this, and this, and this, and this. And then I looked at my schedule, and I was like, wow, I don't even have time to eat or sleep in here. I feel like I'm going to throw up every day. Okay, scale it back a little. Kim, my master trainer, she was like, yeah, we were going to let you bop around in there for a week until you really checked in with what was going on. I'm like, yeah, no, I just want to throw up every day. So scale it back a little. If you're only excited, you're still in your old box. Because you're still using skills and resources that you already have. So those are your two things from now on that you want to look for. Excitement and a little bit of, ooh, I think it's making me nauseous. And all big leaders know this. It has to be enough that it's going to propel you beyond what was there before. Your biology will tell you. As soon as you start to feel that, oh, I'm a little scared, good, you're doing something new. And the only way you're going to keep growing is if you do something that's new. Any questions about the amygdala? Yes.
When you say firing, what does that exactly mean?
It literally means it floods your body with certain chemicals and neurotransmitters. So as soon as you encounter something new, you're going to get that fight or flight response. That's your amygdala. You'll feel it in your body. Like, anybody ever have that? I'm sure, well, you're all in human bodies, right? You're doing something new and you're like, oh, that's your amygdala. However, as soon as you take a step towards it, it's not new anymore. So as soon as you go give that first presentation, as soon as you go to that first bank and ask for the loan, as soon as you go do that first thing it is that you need to do, oh, now you're, literally your biology's happy. Now it's going, okay, I can do that, I did it before. You may not be yet completely skilled and graceful, however, you can go do it. Yeah.
What's the gene? Medulla?
Amygdala. Can you see, is it up there? I'll put it up here for you. Then you can Google to your heart's content. Our good friend Google.
Totally not close enough at all.
Yeah.
Your amygdala. It kind of looks like a, yeah. They've got some really cool biology programs you can Google, and you can actually see the different parts of the brain. The amygdala kind of looks like a Klingon-y starship. Amygdala hijack. So, from now on, going forward, I want you to feel excitement and that little bit of whoop, then you'll know it's something new. Otherwise, you're still in your box. Don't bother. Alright, so this is how we create behavior. This is one of the most powerful things that you're going to learn tonight, and it looks really crazy, so I'm going to run you through it. So you've got 5 senses. You've got your visual, your eyes, your auditory, your ears, your kinesthetic, your sense of touch, your feelings, your olfactory, which is your taste, olfactory, smell, and gustatory, which is your taste. So you've got your 5 senses. Now what happens on average, we call it VACOG for short, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory, VACOG. Now what happens on average is you have about 2 million bits per second of information coming at you. So what do I mean by that? I mean the feel of the chair under your bottoms, the sound of my voice, the feel of the temperature, the feel for those of you that are writing with pens. Some of you are just listening. It's the sound of the voice going on in the ears. It's the feel of your heart beating, the thought you had of something you had to do when you came back home. This is happening at 2 million bits per second. Some experts are saying with all of our technology, it may be closer to 4 to 5 million bits per second that we're getting every second. Our brain can compute 134. Yeah. Yeah, think you're, no, 134. So, imagine this for a second. Put one of your hands out, one of your free hands. Okay? Imagine somebody is pouring into your hand every second 2 million toothpicks. You can grab 134 of them every second. You think you might be missing a thing or two?
Yeah.
This is where we start to laugh about how we construct reality and how we construct behavior. Our brain can literally not process. It is incapable of processing everything that's coming at it. So what do? We filter it. We delete certain things so that we don't have to pay attention to the things that are important to pay attention to. We distort things. I'm sure some of you have had this happen. I was at that family dinner and Uncle Bob said so and so. Now I was there too and Aunt Mary said this. My master trainer came in her lifetime back in Macedonia. She had her family was burning down chicken coops because of this. Chicken coops. We generalize. This is why you can get into one car and know how to drive, and then you can get into another car and know how to drive. You learn it once, you can generalize it across the board. This is very handy for tying shoes. You learn how to tie shoes once, then you can do it across the board. Now see, these processes are neutral. They're just something your brain does. It deletes, it distorts, and generalizes. So, let me ask you something. Is the moon real? I mean, have you all seen the moon?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, good. 'Cause I've seen the moon. I'm hoping I'm not the only one. This isn't gonna work. So let's imagine for a second that the moon is here. Okay? Let's just imagine the moon is here. The moon is real, yes? Okay. You established the moon exists, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, good. This isn't a trick question.
As far as we know.
As far as we know. Now, if I gave you all a piece of paper, the exact same paints and paintbrushes, what would happen? Exactly. Can you say that really nice and loud?
Everybody's gonna draw different pictures.
Everybody's going to do it differently. Why? Why is everybody going to draw or paint the moon differently?
Perception.
Perception. Yep, your experience. So, some of you may delete the fact that there was clouds behind the moon. Some of you might distort it. I talked about Disney. Disney was great at this. Talking nice. That was a cool distortion. Actually, entrepreneurs need to be really good at distorting things, because entrepreneurs often find solutions to problems that nobody else can find. This is where we get really funky inventions and cool things, because they're able to distort the way we look at things. So it's a good skill to have if you can hone in on it. And generalize, this is how we learn. So, after we delete, distort, and generalize those 2 million bits, then we actually filter them through all of these internal filters, and this is happening instantly. We filter them through time, where we are in time. I mean, the you are now is different than the you were when you walked in the door, and is different than the you were 5 years ago, is different than the you were 10 years ago. So we filter our experiences through time, we filter information through time. We filter it through space. Right now you're sitting in a building in a chair. It's different than when you're sitting in a car, which is different than when you're out for a walk along the beach. So we filter by the space, the physical space that we're in. We filter by energy. Sometimes we have lots of energy. Sometimes we're a little tired. Maybe we worked really hard or the kids kept us up at night. We also filter by matter, physical matter, which relates to time and space. Now this is a funky one. Language. How many of you speak more than one language, out of curiosity? Okay. How many of you speak 2 languages? Grades of 3, 4. Congratulations, 5. Awesome. 6. Almost 7. Let's give our hand for having 5. Now, for those of you that speak other languages, I've had this happen. Like, my background's Ukrainian. I learned Spanish when I lived in Mexico. And sometimes I'll have like the perfect word in Spanish. And I'm like, it's, and I don't have it in English. Or the worst thing that would happen when I lived in Mexico, I would call up my grandmother and I'd speak Ukrainian to her. And then sometimes I was throwing in words in Spanish. And then I'd get off the phone with her and I'd be talking Ukrainian to my friends in Mexico and confusing everybody. You see, because my filter was based on the language that I was speaking at the time. I just came back from Mexico. I was there for 8 days. And, no word of a lie, this is kind of embarrassing. Twice, 2 nights in a row, I rolled over in bed and said something to my boyfriend in Spanish both nights. Because I'd been speaking Spanish for 8 days straight. The first night I said, muévete un poquito. Move a little. And then the second night, I don't know, I was just blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, was I talking to you in Spanish? Yep. So we filter by language. We filter by our memories. Obviously, the way that you live things is going to be different than the way you live things, and the way it's going to be different than you live things. So we filter things through our memories. And all of this is happening how fast? Instantly. We filter through meta programs. Meta programs are way beyond the scope of today. They're actually not even in the week-long course, they're in the 2-week-long course. Meta programs are things like whether we move towards things or away from things, whether we're people, or whether we like working with things, whether we notice similarities or differences. A lot of HR companies use a lot of meta programs type assessments to get the right person in the right job, to make sure they're the right fit. You have 19 of them. 19 meta programs that will dictate your behavior. Then, I mean, just for fun, all of your decisions that you've ever made up until now, filtering, because your unconscious mind is handling 90% of the show, so it's doing this instantly. All of your values about anything, and all of your beliefs. Values are powerful. Values will literally dictate hundreds of beliefs, which then generate hundreds of behaviors. Your values are some of the core, most important things in your life. We'll learn about this later. We never mess around with people's number 1 values. You can shift things. This actually happened to me when I was in the master practitioner program. We elicited my values in business. This was quite amusing. Making an impact came up a lot. Anyways, I couldn't remember all of them. Making money was nowhere on there. In my business values. Do you think that might have been a bit of a problem? So we put it in. Because your values will dictate your behavior. Somebody in business needs to have making money in their business values, definitely. So you'd be surprised actually at how many people don't. Because they just want to give, and they want to give. And your attitudes. So after it goes through all of those filters, your brain gives you an internal representation. That's a nice fancy word for the picture of the movie in your head. Your movie gives you your state. That's your emotional state. So you can be in a motivated state. You can be in an unmotivated state. You can be in a happy state. You can be in a sad state. You can be in a confident state. You can be in a depressed state. But essentially what's triggered it is the movie in your head, the picture in your head. And it's happening how fast? Instantly. So you ever have it happen where you're like, oh man, I was in the best mood and I don't know what just happened, but I'm really irritated? Something happened in your head. But it happens so fast that you were consciously unaware of it. Your physiology. We're going to play with this a little bit after. Your physiology, literally the way you carry yourself, will affect the way your behavior is generated. They've done now studies on people in wheelchairs, and people in wheelchairs, literally because they are unable to stand up and move, are unable to feel the full range of emotions. It's kind of crazy. So your actual physiology will affect it, and all of this drives your behavior. I don't know if you can see that's an arrow. So your internal representation, the movie, your state, how you feel, your physiology, drives your behavior. And your behavior is driven by strategies. So literally, almost like a computer, it's got a program that when this happens, then this executes. Your behavior is run exactly the same way. So, I said state was your emotion, right? Yeah? State's your emotion. You can be motivated, you can be unmotivated, you can be sad, you can be happy. Okay, let me prove to you that we have pictures, that we make pictures in our heads. Close your eyes for a second. And I want you to think of your favorite dessert. Just for a second. Just think of your favorite dessert and how yummy it is. Do you have a picture? Okay, now with your eyes closed still, keep your eyes closed. Just point to where that picture is. Where's that picture of your favorite dessert? Good, and keeping your finger pointed, open your eyes. Some of you is like right here. Your body stores pictures literally in relation to your body holographically. So close your eyes again for a sec. This one's gonna be funny, just play with me for a second. When you think of dog poop, you have a picture. Okay, point, where is it? Open your eyes. Like for most people it's far, because it's not something they think about every day. Versus for a lot of people, your favorite dessert, something you really love, is going to be closer. The more intense something is, the closer the picture is going to be in relation to your body. So literally, when we have these internal representations, where we have these pictures, these movies, when you ask people to show you where they are, they actually have a holographic physical location in relation to your body. So, the movie comes before the emotion, yes?
Yes.
The movie comes before the emotion. I'm going to move this over into the middle for a second. Okay, so you all have feelings, yes?
Yeah.
Happy feelings, sad feelings, all feelings. Now, here's the interesting thing. A lot of people are using their feelings as evidence of whether they got to their goal or not. It's a very interesting concept when you think about it. Now, I just want to show you, even though your feelings are completely valid,